Hello and welcome to a tabla rasa episode of We Only Look Thin.
Wow.
I am your host, Catherine Weigel, and I have lost and maintained a weight loss of 155 pounds. And with me today is...
Donald Weigel, who is impressed that you're dropping the Latin on everyone.
Oh, it's coming in hard today. We're starting fresh. So.
Yeah, this is, people are just supposed to relax and
What's a tabla rasa?
enjoy their New Year's Eve, and you're dropping Latin on them. Hey, I'm Donald Weigel. I am 50% of We Only Look Thin, and I have lost and maintained a little over 100 pounds.
Wonderful.
Of weight
Too
loss.
bad you didn't gain an extra 50 like me so that you could have lost 150 pounds.
Oh, man. So if I gain 50 now and then lose it again, can I say I lost 150
No, because
pounds?
if we added up all the weight that we've lost in the last 40
it would be like
years,
1,000 pounds.
I have lost 1,000 pounds.
yeah, and then found it again.
Anyway, welcome. Hello.
Hello.
If you are...
You will, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, it will be New Year's Eve.
Oh, there's so much snacking to do before New Year.
No, don't do that.
No, you got to get everything out of the way on New Year. You got to
Really?
get all the
New
vices
Year's
out of
Eve,
the way.
You've got to
You're running with scissors.
Yeah.
You're eating all the leftover butter cookies from Christmas.
Jumping in the pool right after eating instead of waiting 30 minutes.
You start smoking cigarettes just so that you can quit them
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah.
There's
You make
so
your
many
New Year's
things.
resolution quitting.
Were you a big New Year's resolutioner?
Yeah, yes and no. I rejected it for many years. In the last 5 or 10, though, I've been big on it. And I've actually accomplished a lot of them in the last few years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, some I did not accomplish this past year.
I feel like, interesting, mentioning me, talking about me. I'm going to talk about me.
Hey, you know Catherine Weigel?
I do. Oh, her?
Yeah, she's so inspirational.
So inspiring.
Yeah.
She was not so 3 years ago on a night very much like this. 3 years ago, I started down this last weight loss rabbit hole. And
rabbit hole.
I don't know.
Adventure? Journey venture?
No, I 3 years ago, January of 2016, I was in a really terrible, dark place. Happy New Year!
Yeah, you and me both.
But I honestly, 3 years ago, I decided that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I knew I had to stop playing games with weight loss and reindeers, and I decided that I was going to do something different. And so I started listening to weight loss podcasts. I didn't think about losing my last 100 pounds. I just thought about losing 3-5 pounds maybe, just so that I could fit into my clothes.
5 pounds at a time, 1 pound at a time.
And now look at me. Look at me over your ears.
A weight loss mogul.
A mogul. Yeah, but that was 3 years ago. I am not the person I was 3 years ago. And I would hasten to say, you are not the person I was 3 years ago.
I almost laughed really loud into the microphone. Yes, I am also not the person you were 3 years ago.
No, we're so different.
Look, thank goodness you did, and thank goodness you started listening to weight loss podcasts, etc. I consciously made a choice almost exactly 3 years ago to just do nothing, to just eat what I was going to eat and gain whatever weight I was going to gain. And
fait accompli.
Yes, that means mission. A few short months later, at the highest weight of my life, I was smacked in the face with type 2 diabetes.
Diabetes.
Yeah.
The sugar. Ooh, someday we should sing them our type 2 diabetes song that we wrote. Instead of pour some sugar on me, it's type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 or type 3. Get yourself checked for diabetes.
Yeah, there's no such thing as type 3 diabetes.
I think we brought diabetes on ourselves because we started singing that song in jest before Donald got the sugar. So
you're being very generous too. I had nothing to do with composing that song. That was all you.
Do you have that sugar?
Yeah.
Want to know for sure?
Oh my goodness.
Oh
so
boy,
good.
we are great.
So
we are
good.
so inspiring.
Yeah.
But no, so much has changed in the last 3 years. And when I go back to that dark day 3 years ago, when I think about where I was, like I said, I never imagined I would lose 100 pounds. I never imagined Donald would lose 100 pounds. I just didn't want to feel like I did. And this time of New Year, and clean slates and tabula rasas. This episode.
Did we tell them tabula rasa means clean slate?
I thought tabula rasa meant baby new year.
Yeah, baby new year. Yes. So let's tell them what we're going to tell them. We are going to first give a tip of the week.
Tao.
And then we're going to discuss baby new year and the new year and the new
gaga.
you. I know that's some.
Oh, new you.
That's some weight loss jingle
so fresh
already.
Tomorrow.
New year, new you. We're not.
When you wake up tomorrow in the new year, it's going to be a new you.
Yeah.
You're leaving the you of 2018 behind.
Exactly.
So we're doing Tao. We're talking about Baby New Year, and then we're also going to finish off with a product of the week.
Pow! Product of the week,
which is a digital thing.
Yeah, it's a digital thing.
We'll talk about that later. So should we start off with the tip of the week?
Tip of the week to you.
Tip of the week to you. So this tip of the week has to do with the virtue of patience. And the virtue of an oven.
Yes.
Yeah. So this tip of the week is instead of microwaving something, put it in the oven.
Oh, going old
revolutionary.
School. Yeah.
No, I have a habit of wanting to eat things very quickly. I scarf them. I snarf them, or whatever it is.
Yeah, you're a champion scarfer.
I am. So microwaving something for 3 minutes gives immediate gratification. A lot of times that is convenient. But what I have found recently is I will put something in the oven that takes 25, 30, 40 minutes. And it forces me to have some patience around what I'm eating. And I know that that is not always possible if you're at work. But at home, just the notion that I can't have the macaroni and cheese frozen entree or the chili relleno from
Trader Joe's chili relleno, by the way.
I put it in the oven the other day instead of in the microwave, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
Ovens, everybody.
It's already delicious, but
ovens, they're the new hot thing. But just
the hot
new,
thing.
Like waiting 20 to 30 minutes. I am very impatient, and we're going to talk about acting like a toddler a little bit later on, but having that forced hand of I am going to make something, it is going to take me 30 or 40 minutes before I can eat it, just gives me time to process that feeling and helps me not give in to that immediate, I want it right now. I have burned the roof of my mouth from eating food before.
Yeah.
Some people say that they put cookies or cookie dough in the freezer. Ha 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 ha.
That won't stop her.
That won't
stop me.
No. Anyway, it just gives me a little bit of breathing room between.
I liked your maniacal laugh, by the way.
My ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Was that what it sounded like?
Some evil genius laughing.
So just give yourself 30 minutes. Just put a little planning in front of you.
Yeah, like I eat a lot of prepackaged frozen things, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's helped me get where I am in this weight loss journey venture, and putting them in the oven. I especially do it with like frozen burritos. There are some really nice like 250 to 300 calorie frozen burritos that I found that if I put them in the oven, not only do they taste better, but it delays my gratification. And then it sounds weird, but I eat it, and then if I eat it later, then I'm not hungry as soon also.
So it's sort of planning for your future self.
Yeah.
But I really do, like, I could eat something super, super quickly and then be hungry 10 minutes later. But if I kind of pace myself, drink some water before I eat my lunch, let it cool, it feels like I'm a grown-up, finally, at this tender age. Finally, at this tender age. So dust off the oven, y'all. It's worth it. It is very helpful. So that is the tip of the week.
Tao! Tip of the week to you.
Ooh, if it was the tip of the year, it would be toy. I think we'll wordsmith that later.
Yeah, no, we'll workshop that.
So let's bring it back around to the calendar page, and the new year is upon us.
Yeah.
What did the time between Christmas and New Year look like to you in the past? Say 3 years ago, what did it look like? I mean, not like where were we, but like what kinds of things would you do?
Oh, I would eat all the treats and eat as if my last meal was coming because I was gonna, shape up on January 1st.
Exactly, or come up with some unrealistic goal. Or imagine, and I know we've talked about this before, in Coming in Hot, where we thought...
Episode 47 of We Only Look Thin, Coming in Hot.
But
go back and listen to it.
We would, overindulge. And this was me 3 years ago. We actually went away for Christmas and ate a lot. For very many days. And I got to the point where I literally could not button my pants on January 3rd when I was going back to work. And I was defeated and very sad. But I was making my future self pay for my choices. Sure, I'll just eat all of the butter cookies. I'll, have a drink or four every night because we're celebrating. It's celebratory. And breakfast donuts and lunch donuts and afternoon donuts. So that was the me of the past. And I think, we've talked about putting pressure on our future selves to be this new person. Let's just pretend it's January 1st. Are you magically waking up as a new person today? Have you gone through some imaginary Arizona force field where suddenly you're this finally, I knew it. If I just waited until January 1st, I'd be a new person. And here I am.
Imaginary Arizona force field is also an episode of this podcast.
That is an episode.
You can go back and listen to that.
It's amazing. But we imagine our future selves are suddenly, we turn the calendar page, we've got a tabula rasa, and that means clean slate. And new year, new you. We get messages from fitness companies. I think last year we saw a billboard that was like, new year, new you, come join us at the gym. And like 2 days later, it was like a fat burger ad on the same billboard.
I think it was.
And it was like, juicy, delicious burgers. So we get all these messages about, starting the new year with this crazy regimen, super structured, and we tend to burn out very quickly.
Yeah, and Catherine and I have been, I feel like, talking all year, and it's been almost a year. This is episode 51 of this show, so it'll be officially a whole year with the next episode. We've been talking a lot for the last year about, not waiting till January 1st and starting now and, not waiting until you have that special event or that special occasion. But let's say that you have waited. Now is the time to look ahead and ask yourself, do I want to repeat what I did in 2018, or do I want to start making some changes? Or are you going to repeat what you did in 2017, 2016, 2015? I know if I had kept doing that, I would probably not, I wouldn't have lost 100 pounds. I would have gained another 100 pounds. And I would be in bad shape with my diabetes and everything else that comes with that. And I think that this is an opportunity to look ahead. Now, one of the things that we've cautioned about is not coming in too hot. And that is, not going and signing up for the gym membership and assuming that you're going to go 6 days a week and you're going to buy all the gear, you're going to get new workout clothes, you're going to get the Fitbit, which I do love the Fitbit. You're going to get all the stuff and suddenly you're going to be fixed and you're going to get on the bandwagon. What we would like to suggest is to make some gentle changes, set some realistic goals. One of those realistic goals might be that you're just going to tell yourself, look, I'm going to lose 1 pound a month this year. I would say no more, don't set your goal any higher than 3 pounds a month. I think that's a realistic, sustainable amount. And that's basically what I did to lose my 100 pounds was that amount.
Well, and, as we look at the new year, there are people who will do sort of analysis paralysis. They try to come up with a perfect plan that they're going to follow to the letter. We've talked about that before, where we want a plan to save us from ourselves. And I think what has changed fundamentally for me, like I in one of the groups that I'm a part of, someone said, help, I'm at my highest weight ever. What do I do? Like, what's the one weird trick? and someone suggested using additional spices and seasonings on their food. And that was like the way to weight loss.
It's a miracle.
Oh, Mrs. Dash.
Oh, Mrs. Dash.
Oh, that's why I was 300 pounds. Is because I didn't use enough Casey Masterpiece dry Kansas rub.
But for the love, it would have been so much easier.
Look, there are people who maybe have not been chronically overweight their entire lives, where they really just moderating with some herbs and spices, like the Colonel, might help. But for me, changing fundamentally my
secret herbs and spices,
changing my life in a meaningful way meant adding things to my life that included more movement and more accountability for my food choices and my mental choices. So we sort of want to talk about, and Donald suggested this. Way to go, Donald Jr. Weigel.
Why, thank you.
You've got 12 months of this year coming up. And instead of coming in hot with the perfect plan and the perfect, membership, and you're going to adhere 100% to something, what if each month you decided on a new habit to add to your life? Does that sound extreme? I thought you were going to be like, that sounds extreme.
That sounds extreme.
That sounds crazy.
I didn't go to rehearsal.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you were even here or if I told you. There was a commercial.
I don't know what she's about to say.
There was a commercial last week with Holly Robinson, who was on 21 Jump Street.
Oh, yeah.
She and her
Holly Robinson Peet, I believe. Yeah.
She and her husband, Mr. Peet, were on a commercial for this like weight loss pill. I don't know if you were here. And she was like, do you want to lose weight without changing anything about your entire life? Sure, we all do. And now with this pill, it's possible.
Oh, my goodness.
And I wanted to punch your television. Donald would have been really mad if I did. But it was like, eat whatever you want. Do whatever you want. There are absolutely no side effects. It's a miracle.
You can do what you want to me, but you stay away from that television.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Don loves the television. But like, it made me so angry that there are still people advocating for like, don't change anything about your life.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And Weight Watchers isn't going to fix your life. Joining Orange Theory is not going to fix your life, but fundamentally adding sustainable life changes, it's pretty sustainable life changes. Like we're not talking about doing anything extreme. It's not sexy, but we'd like to lay out a bunch of things that you might be able to once a month just do one small thing. And then when that 30, 31 days, 28 days are over, I don't know if it's a leap year, add something in February, then add something in March. And by the end of the year, you've got like a full like life change going on. Like how, like it kind of sneaks up on you and it doesn't sound sexy.
I mean, it's like, it's basically what we did.
What is that going to do? That's not going to do anything.
Before we move on, though, I would like to give you a fun fact. Holly Robinson Peet's husband's first name is Reed, and they call him Ree for short. So he's Repeat.
Wow. I know you have a Vuvuzela sound queued up on our air horn.
Like a DJ air horn.
Repeat. Wow.
Yeah.
That, maybe I should do a screenshot. Oh, man, I'm so mad about that. Darn Holly Robinson Peet for you doing that. So we're going to just talk about some things that you can add to your life. We're not talking about a plan. We're not talking about you buying anything. This is just changing the way you look at your choices.
Yeah, and we're not talking about, being perfect overnight either, because that has never worked for me. Like trying to be quote unquote perfect overnight. Like I would get hardcore on a plan and I would always burn out every time.
Fall on my face. And we've talked about plans having an expiration date. We're great. I did Weight Watchers 20 times.
Yeah.
I was perfect for 3 weeks. And then I went, to someone's birthday party and overindulged. And then I felt like a failure and I didn't want to get on the scale. So we have 50 other episodes that you can listen to where I talk about all the failures I've made in my life. But we're gonna review, and this is just about what we have done and changes that we've made in our life. So if you think about the kind of life you're leading and really look at your choices, what small things can you put in place?
Yeah, and look, we're going to give a bunch of suggestions right now.
Not just 12, you're getting more.
Yeah, of habits that you might want to do. If you hate them, you don't have to do them. Add habits that are right for you. But the point of this whole exercise is that you don't have to do everything all at once. You have the rest of your life to put these things in place. Why not take the construct of 2019 and give yourself a goal? Add one of these things a month and stick to them. Stick to it for 30 days. And if you hate it, guess what? You don't have to do it.
You can change it.
And you can do something else. But the point here is to think about this as this is how I'm going to live my life. I am going to do these things. I'm going to make them part of my life. I'm not going on a diet. I'm not going on a plan. I am going to become this other person. I'm going to add these habits to my life. And a year from now, I'm going to be a different person or a person that I would rather be than what I am right now.
Well, and two, I like to think of it as, and we've talked about being a student of yourself, or even see each of these things as a science experiment. I think I used to think that if I went down a path that I could never turn around and change my mind. Try something for a month. If you don't like it, stop. Go do something else. It's not a big deal. And think about, I wasted from age probably 16 to 41 years old wanting to bargain with myself for weight loss. And if I can't imagine if I had just spent a year going for a 10-minute walk every day.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, I mean, if I had just in my 20s decided I was going to lose a half a pound a month, by the time I was 30, I would have been at my goal weight, and I could have probably stayed there.
Our dear accountability member, Giancarla. Hi, JC. I have known her since I was 18 years old. JC has lost about 9 pounds this year. Again, super duper slow. She was pretty much near a goal, but she said that this was the first year, thanks to accountability with We Only Look Thin, that she's been able to actually make a fundamental change. And she's not doing anything crazy. Nobody's going to do a documentary on her amazing lifestyle choices, but moderation has paid off for her. So
yeah,
it's
Holly
awesome.
Robinson Peet's not going to do a commercial for losing 9 pounds in a year. But, if you're somebody who gained weight this year, ask yourself, would you rather have lost 9 pounds or no pounds or have gained weight? Ask yourself those questions, and I think the answer is easy.
It is. So, Donald, do you want to start us off with, let's pretend it's January. Let's pretend that it's January.
We'll pretend it's January, though it's only December 31st.
So instead of buying a shake meal shake plan, what's one thing that I could do in January?
Well, one thing you can do, and one thing that I started doing when I started down this current path, is to just take a 10-minute walk every day.
That's not going to help me lose 100 pounds.
You know what? It did.
Oh, no. All right.
It did.
You know
I have the evidence. I have the photographic evidence to prove
Point,
that it did.
Donald. A 10-minute walk. Set a timer. Walk 5 minutes in one direction. Turn around and come back home. You're telling me in the amount of time that you spend on Pinterest that you don't have time to take a 10-minute walk?
Yeah, and just make it purposeful movement. You're not just taking a little stroll. This is your exercise. Get it in your head. This is your exercise, and you're going to do it every day. And you know what happened to me? The 10 minutes was pretty painless, so I upped it to 20, and then I upped it to 30, and then I upped it to an hour. And you don't have to look at it long-term like that, but it's what I wanted to do. And guess what? It's 10 more minutes of purposeful walking than you're doing right now.
Well, it's really fun. My dad, shout out to my dad. Hi, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
We got him, we went in on a new Fitbit for him for his birthday.
Yeah.
And earlier when he first got it, he was getting about 2,000 steps a day. He sent me a photo the other day. He was at 11,000 steps.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of him.
That's fantastic.
How awesome is that? And for those of you...
Oh, my goodness. A 11,000 step day would have been a dream,
it's
to me 3
huge,
years ago.
and I'm so proud of him.
Never would have hit it.
But those 10 minutes, taking 10 minutes of your day, you're telling me in 24 hours, 300, Hamilton,
yeah.
10 minutes of your day, you can take for yourself. You can re-own those. You can repossess them and make them for you. And it will matter. If you do that for 30 days and have that feeling of pride that you actually were able to take 10 minutes a day for 30 days, that's pretty awesome. That's so awesome.
Really is.
And then carry that into February. Maybe then do 15 minutes a day. Yeah. See what you're up for, depending on the inclement weather in your area. Go back to this episode 4, where we talk about sneaking in steps.
Lots of tips on steps in that episode.
Many. So that's January. Why don't you ask me what we do in February?
Hey, honey, what do we do in February?
I'm so glad you asked that. I would suggest maybe instead of eating off of giant sort of, what do they call them? Snow shields?
Yeah, toboggans.
Instead of eating out of garbage can lids, switch to 9-inch salad plates. You got those salad plates sitting there. You got them.
What's that going to do?
You don't know what you're going
to do. Hey, babe, what's that going to do? I'm eating the same food.
Well, portion control was really huge for me. And I was actually talking to Donald offline in 3D America about how when
we talk sometimes without microphones.
When we got married, we got these big pasta bowls that were probably 12-inch large pasta bowls. In 20 years, they have cracked and chipped.
Yeah, they were a wedding gift, actually.
They were. And I wanted to replace them, but all of the new pasta dishes were maybe 8 or 9 inches. I need 12 inches of food, please. So I didn't want to get new ones. Now I realize portion control actually matters. And if you have a lean cuisine meal and you put it on a 12-inch plate, it looks very lonely. It looks very small, and visually you're telling yourself you need more food. Put it on a smaller plate, suddenly it's abundant.
Yeah, it looks like you're overflowing. You've got a cornucopia of food.
Speaking of which, go back to the Pump Up the Volume episode. Did we have a Pump Up the Volume episode? Or was that...
we did.
Okay. Go back to that. Add veggies and stuff. But eating off of 9-inch plates literally for the last 3 years, there are very few occasions when I've eaten off of a dinner plate. Giving myself the visual presentation on a 9-inch plate has really changed my life. Do that for a month. Just fill your plate once with a smaller portion. Am I telling you to count calories? I am not telling you to count calories. I'm just saying eat off a smaller plate. See how it goes. If it works, super duper. If it doesn't, move on to March. See what happens then.
Yeah, maybe we should maybe rapid fire a couple of these.
Okay.
So another thing you could try is to just add more protein to your diet. I know for me, when I eat more protein, I don't get as hungry, and protein isn't as triggery for me as carbohydrates and sugar is.
That's true.
So try doing that for a month.
What about planning your snacks ahead of time? I love snacks. I'm a snack person. What if each morning you just set aside what you are going to have in the evening in the morning when you're fresh and composed? I never make good choices in the moment. Plan ahead. Set aside your pint of Halo Top. Put your 5 Oreo cookies in a Ziploc bag and say, this is for Monday night.
Yeah, we're not even saying to reduce the treats that you're eating, but just, don't eat any unplanned treats. Somebody brings cookies or something treaty to work that is not in your plan. You get in the habit of saying no to it and just not doing it. How about drinking more water?
That sounds extreme.
It is.
We live in a drought county.
It's extremely satisfying.
But drink a little bit of water. Have a glass of water before each meal.
You don't have to start with 47 glasses a day.
Just a glass.
Just, think about how much water you're drinking now and drink some more. When you stay hydrated, it reduces your hunger, it keeps you full, and studies have shown it helps with weight loss.
Now, what if you just decided, because you were grown up, that you were not going to eat off of anyone else's plate?
Oh.
Whether it be child's or a shared appetizer.
Or your pet.
Just decide that you eat off of your plate because you were a grown-up. You do not eat food scraps. I actually had to tell Donald last night to not let me eat the scraps of our daughter's burrito. And I didn't, and I felt very grown up.
Yeah, she gave me the warning ahead of time to prevent her from doing it.
Yep. So what else you got, Donald?
How about try and prep like I'm not saying meal prep every meal, but maybe prep one meal a week that you're going to take to work and that you're going to stick to, so that you're not at the whim of going out to eat with people.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, prep is Latin for prepare.
Oh, right.
So,
tabula rasa prep.
So really, just plan ahead. People, you go to work every day. Go back to our 365 surprises episode.
Yeah. So start planning one meal a week, and then maybe you can, make it 2. Maybe you can make it 3, and then before you know it, you're planning more meals.
And I basically eat adult Lunchables for lunch. I eat ham and cheese and some fruit and stuff. It doesn't show up in a little prepared package, but I do it myself. It's very fancy. It's easy to do. Prepping doesn't mean like you've got to have 50 Instant Pot meals made.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll cook a big batch of something on the weekend and then split it up for amongst several meals in a week. But Catherine does not do that, and you don't have to do that. But maybe just plan something that's going to be, friendly to your calories, and then make it a habit.
Okay. What about, and I know Donald has a bigger idea on it, but what about 1 month you just decide, like, tracking your food is so overwhelming to you? What if you just start tracking your breakfasts? What if you just pay attention to the calories in your coffee, in your muffin, in your cereal, in your oatmeal? Just start paying attention. Write it on a piece of paper. We've talked about apps before that track calories. Just start with breakfast every day. See how you feel. If you eat the same thing every day, easy peasy. If you eat the same 2 or 3 things every day, easy peasy. It's not like I make new creations every day. And then the next month, what if you started adding lunches? What are you eating for lunch? Track it. Then dinner. Track that another month.
Yeah, I know for some people that like tracking your food, writing it down is like kryptonite. It's like you would rather, go to the dentist and have a root canal than track it.
Or be 300 pounds like I was.
Yeah. But for me, it is essential. Like I feel like I can't adjust what I'm doing if I don't have a benchmark. And just try and get in the habit of tracking one meal, and then maybe add a second one and keep going. When I started down this path, I started writing down everything, and I didn't put any judgment on it. I just needed to see how many calories I was eating, and then I stepped it back 10%. And then I stepped it back a little more and a little more. And even now, when I'm at maintenance, I'm eating about 2,000 calories a day, which I know, I'm a dude, so I probably can eat a little more than the average woman. But that's not a terrible, calorie deficit. I mean, it's not, an unsustainable level. I get us, pretty satisfying amount of food every day.
Well, and that being said, when Donald started, he wasn't doing all of these things that we mentioned.
And he and I didn't want to do any of them. He
and I do very different things. I mean, I think from the list we do a smattering of each. But if you can imagine just adding some things to your life each month in a gradual way, what is it going to hurt? What else you got going on? Like, will it hurt you to eat on a smaller plate? Take a second plate full if it's not enough food. Like, we're not talking about doing anything life-changing. We're not asking you to get a tattoo on your forehead proclaiming the weight that you want to be by the end of the year.
Oh, wait, that was the next one on my list.
The tattoo on your forehead?
Yeah.
Ooh, awkward.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, really, I think putting a tattoo on your forehead of the weight you'd like to be it's like an obliger in me really feels like that's a great
you just
idea.
Put a number on there and you don't explain it.
Don't explain it.
Yeah,
it's none of your business.
That'll go well for everyone.
Yeah, but do you get it reversed so you can see it in a mirror, or do you get it right side so that it looks reversed?
Maybe you have to get both.
You get 2?
Yeah.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
We're so full of good ideas. Please don't do that, anybody.
Ideas.
So do you have any other ideas?
Well, I was going to suggest maybe you find one exercise that you don't hate. We've already talked about walking, but maybe there's one exercise that you don't hate, and you try adding something that you can do in just 2-3 minutes, and you try doing that every day. Maybe it's just five half push-ups on your knees. Maybe it's some Fonzies, or, maybe it's some arm lifts. There's a great Blogilates, I can't remember her name, but site where she's got a lot of great exercises you can do without a gym. For 2 years, I didn't do any of those sorts of exercises. And then after that, after I had basically lost 100 pounds, I decided I was going to add some things. And, I gently added sort of one thing at a time, and now I do a nice little arm routine.
We didn't buy any kettlebells. We didn't buy any equipment. We don't have a Bowflex.
No, we don't have shake weights.
And Donald, I've got to say, you're looking pretty awesome from just following the internet and telling us what to do, doing a two push-ups here and there. So,
why, thank you.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you.
I don't know where that came
I
from.
don't know.
We need better catchphrases. If anybody has an idea for a catchphrase, let us know. And another one for me, go to bed a little bit earlier. We used to stay up super, super late and watch Seinfeld until we were exhausted, and then I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I love Seinfeld.
That's a good one.
Seinfeld's not going anywhere. I could probably watch it whenever I wanted to. Go to bed 20 minutes earlier. What's it going to hurt? Who's it going to kill? Nobody. Just add some things to your life. We go to bed very early now. We're very boring and very boring. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But it's really
very
helped.
Boring, but very fit.
Very fit and inspiring.
But look, and again, I think we've said more than 12 tips for the year. Try adding one of these a month. Or if that's too much for you, try adding one every other month. Pick and choose. Maybe you've got some other ideas for some habits that you want to put in place. But try and do something. But you don't have to do all of them all at once. And you don't even have to do all of them ever. But try doing some of them.
Well, and I think one really big thing, and it was something that we learned about in the books, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, is that we live in a society in which we wear a badge for our exhaustion. We think that being overworked and getting 50 things done, I thought when I became a parent, that I would magically lose weight because I would be so tired from being run ragged that would be my weight loss plan.
Yeah, that's the story I've heard since I was a kid.
And turns out, not so much.
No.
I do a lot of great secret eating and eating off of plates.
Yeah, you're really good at it.
Oh, I know. So the alternative is, instead of running yourself into the ground, decide to change the kind of person you are. I used to be the kind of person who would complain about everything I had to do. How are you doing? Oh, gosh, I'm so overworked. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do that. And it was such a bummer, such a bummer.
I know at a lot of jobs, too. It's it's not about how early you get in or how much work you get done, but it's how late you stay. At least in my business, I work on movies and TV shows. There's this kind of unspoken badge of honor, I'm the last one here, I'm here later than you, so I'm better than you in some way. It's really bizarre.
But it's with volunteer opportunities and family obligations and friend obligations and things that you just want to do by yourself. We tend to complain about the volume of exhaustion that we have, and we think that we seem valiant for taking it all on. And in the Gifts of Imperfection, Brene Brown talks about digging deep and the points where we're overexhausted, overexerted, and we feel like we have to get stuff done. And a lot of times that leads to emotional eating, emotional drinking, very bad choices in the moment, like getting drive-through, and we exhaust ourselves to a point where we don't want to make rational choices. We make ourselves hangry, we make ourselves exhausted, and we feel like we deserve food as a treat for our exhaustion. And breaking that cycle of exhaustion has been very important to me. Please know I still have stressful things in my life. We still have stressful family situations. We still have stressful jobs. We still have obligations. But I had to decide what was critical to do and what would be nice to do. And there was a time a few weeks ago where I felt like, okay, I've got to go to Target. I've got to get gasoline. I've got to do this. And, our daughter's got her thing at this time. I have to get it all done. And I was getting mad.
Yeah.
I was just getting angry at the world for being so unfair. And I was like, you know what? I don't have to go to Target. Like, Target's going to be there tomorrow. It'd be nice to do it tonight.
Right.
I want to do it tonight. But
Yeah, separating those must-dos from those must be nice.
Must be nice. But really, I had to be responsible for myself and say, you know what is going to make more sense to me? Sure, I would love to go and get those errands done tonight. But critically, I have to make sure that our daughter gets a shower and she has dinner and that she gets her homework done. Like, those are the important things.
Yeah.
Costco would be nice.
And we've been talking about Baby New Year because it's pretty much the new year. Like, treat yourself like a toddler. Like, I have this natural tendency. I make bad decisions as the day goes on, and I get crankier as the day goes on, as I get more tired later in the day. So understanding that that's probably going to happen and planning for it is a good way to prevent the meltdowns and the, being in the middle of Target throwing a tantrum because I'm not getting my Snickers bar.
Well, and we've all seen that before where we're in the subway with a toddler and their parent, or we're at Kmart or Home Depot and we see a kid having a total meltdown. And it's generally because they're tired or they're hungry or they're overworked or cranky, or maybe they just want a He-Man toy.
Yeah.
But we let ourselves miss meals, not plan ahead, not have snacks in our glove box, not get enough sleep. And we feel like we are a victim of those choices. But when we start taking responsibility for those choices and realizing, you know what, if I go to that party tonight, I am going to be really tired and I'm going to be angry tomorrow because I'm stressed out and I'm going to overeat and I'm going to overdrink. You know what? I'm just not going to go. I'm just not going to go. You know what? The school needs volunteers for the library this week. You know what? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. It's not all about me.
I know it's going to lead to bad choices. In this scenario, am Baby New Year, I am going to get cranky and want my bottle if I go do this. So I'm not going to do it.
So treating yourself like a toddler, how you would treat a toddler. Toddlers need predictability. They need stability. They need rest. They need food. And parents generally know, like, you know what? We need to leave the party at 5:00. Like, it's been great, but I've got to go because if the kid doesn't get a nap by 5:30, there's going to be a meltdown. You know yourself and you know the points at which you melt down. And there are times in our jobs where we cannot help but have to stay at work late or get a project done. And those are less flexible. But all the little things in our lives that we add to add drama, we take on responsibility or homework from other people who go like, oh, hey, would you get in touch with my cousin because she wants to know about knitting? Like,
yeah,
hey, you know what? Now's not a time to talk about knitting with somebody I don't know. Not interested in it. Find ways to pull back.
Yeah.
And if you, and this is something else I learned, you don't have to say yes to every single thing somebody asks you to do. Hey, would you want to come over on Thursday night and help me spackle my walls because we're repainting? You know what? I'm going to have to look at my calendar. I'm not sure I can make that work. It is totally okay to say no.
I have a really hard time with this one. Like, I work on it and I struggle with it all the time. I have a very hard time saying no.
But if you think about it as like you're your own assistant,
right,
and you'd be like, well, you know what, I've got to look at my calendar.
Yeah.
Like, literally have to. And there are a lot of times when things are like, oh gosh, I forgot our daughter has an appointment that night, or oh, she's got art class, or oh, I've got this. Like, it's okay to not explain why you can't do something and say, you know what, oh, I wish could, I can't. So, and then leave it at that. You don't owe anybody an explanation. And the more you take back your life, people will take as much of your time as you give.
For sure.
And if you overextend yourself, that's just going to be the norm. And you're treating people, you're telling people how to treat you.
And how about trying to tell yourself how to treat yourself?
There we go.
Instead.
And perfectionism, and this is something she talks about, Brene Brown talks about in the book, perfectionism leads to disappointment. It leads to not meeting expectations, which leads to self-defeat. So just pull back. Add some things into your life that are controllable. We're asking for 10 minutes of your time. We're asking for a smaller plate. These aren't big, monumental life changes.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've said this one on the podcast, but don't let perfection be the enemy of the good. And it's one of my favorite phrases. I have to remind myself of it all the time. Like, getting B work out the door is sometimes much better. And
that was a big one.
Getting 4 or 5 B, level things out the door, as opposed to doing 1 A+ thing is crucial. And it's been super helpful to me to keep that in mind in my life.
Yeah. And there are, we decided to track calories on our Fitbits and get Fitbits and track our steps. And as we've said before, everyone's got their own angle. Everyone has their, the potential for their own plan to work for them. And just making some small lifestyle changes month after month. Imagine yourself in a year from now. Maybe you don't even need to listen to this podcast anymore because you've got all of these amazing resources
Don't be ridiculous.
in place.
They will need to listen to this podcast for the rest of their lives.
I want people to be able to graduate out of this.
Oh, yeah. No, I do too.
But if in a year from now, you've got 12 months of sustainable habits in place that don't even feel like work. Like for me, 9-inch plates don't feel like I'm punishing myself.
Yeah.
Going for a walk every day doesn't feel like punishing myself.
I love our walks.
I do too. And it doesn't feel like work anymore because it's just a part of my life and it's habits that we've built over time. In a year from now, if even you put 6 of these things in place, how awesome would it be to be like, oh gosh, you know what? I've got some actual things that I do now that just feel normal to me. Like a normal human adult.
A normal human.
A normal human, not a baby New Year. So just make some changes. Let us know what changes you feel like you can put in place.
And have a wonderful 2019.
Yes, but we have more to say.
We do.
Yeah.
I wasn't wrapping it up.
I don't know. It sounded like you were just going to
I was wrapping it up.
Do you notice how Donald always says this? In movies, when people are talking on the phone, they just hang up and they don't say
nobody
goodbye.
Nobody says, okay, goodbye.
They just are like...
Yeah, I feel like I'm all the time. I'm constantly like, okay, goodbye. I guess I'll talk to you later. Goodbye. And I'm always signing off, and it takes forever. But people in movies, they just hang up.
Like phone conversation, and then they turn to the person next to them. Dad's in jail.
No. Everyone just seems to know instinctively when the call is over, and they just hang up.
Ooh, what if we should just hang up this episode and just people wondering, what? Are they going on?
Yeah, is it done? Is it over?
Is it done? This isn't a movie.
Yeah, we're going to do a post-credit sequence in this episode.
But before
the first podcast post-credit sequence.
Oh!
Yeah, anyway.
So...
where Thor finds his hammer?
How about we start with... Pow!
Pow, the product of the week.
Product of the week. What is the product of the week, Donald?
This week's product is actually an app. Which
not a tizer, just an app.
When I was growing up, was short for application,
which is Latin for application.
Yes, tabula rasa. I forget what the other Latin word was. Prep. Oh yeah, prep. Tabula rasa prep application. Catherine and I use an app together. It is called Our Groceries.
Our Groceries.
OUR.
What if I don't
groceries.
have an hour? What if I'm not an hour?
HOUR
what if it's just my groceries? Can I still use it if I don't want to share it with anyone?
They're ours.
They're
ours.
Ours.
The app is available on...
It's called Our Groceries.
Yeah, it's called Our Groceries. It's available on the Apple App Store and also the Google App Store, the Android App Store. And what it does is it allows us to basically create grocery lists for different stores. Like we have a list for the Trader Joe's. We have one for Whole Foods. We have one for Ralph's. We have one for Target. It allows us to then add and subtract things for each other. Like we can log into one place on the app, and we can see all of our lists. So I can add things, and then if Catherine goes to the store, she can get them, and vice versa. And you can also take photos of certain items so that the other person knows exactly what it is that you're getting. And it also saves all of these items in lists so that I can remind myself, oh, yeah, I had those great... recently, I got these... Catherine actually found them, these vegetarian, vegan crab cakes. They're, crabless cakes at Trader Joe's. The whole box of 4 of them is only 300 calories, and I tried them, and they were fantastic.
Yeah, it was kind of a crapshoot, but he really liked them.
I apologize to everyone out there.
So you can make specialized lists for whatever store you want. It's just sort of a blank list, but you can check them off. You can add quantities. You can add photos. If we're shopping at the same time in the same store and we part ways, he can get things off the list and they automatically are deducted.
Yeah, you delete them, but they don't delete entirely. And one of the things I really like about it is sometimes I'll get something and I'll try it once and I'll really like it, and then I kind of forget about it.
Yeah, or you throw away the packaging and you can't remember, was it the purple package or the green package?
But I try to make it a habit to take a photo whenever I try something new that I like. I'll take a photo of the packaging and put it into Our Groceries so that I can then later remember, oh, hey, yeah, I got that at Rouse, and it was really great.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a shopping list that you just add or subtract things to. Like you said, you could take photos, and you could do whatever, you could make whatever list you want in it. We have mutual to-do lists.
Yeah.
We have Walt episode ideas.
Yeah, we even put podcast ideas on it.
So it's a shared space that we can use. You can share it, or you can just have it on your own. But it's been a really great way to not have to write things down. I was a professional writer down of lists and then leaving in other purses or leaving at home, and I'd always forget. And so I've left that behind.
No, and it's great because I always have my phone on me, so it's a place when I think of something, I can put it right on there. And it is free initially, or you can use it for free forever. Really, it's got ads in it. It's $5 if you want the ad-free version, which we liked it so much we went ahead and sprung for the paid version of it. Help support developers out there. But it's really great for us in terms of getting groceries for each other because we rarely eat the same things. In fact.
Yeah, so check out Our Groceries. It has really helped. I also have things like Macy's on there and Costco. You can, whatever list, you make a list. You can put lists of book to read, whatever you want.
It's great. And I'll put some links to the app in the show notes for this episode.
Yeah, and let's see. And in final news, let's see. We also have the Walt Place that will be opening up in 2019. We've talked about it before. We've been doing an online accountability group for 2018, and we are moving over to a subscriber-based model sometime in 2019. We're not exactly sure of the date yet. We will keep you posted, but keep a lookout on our Facebook page.
Probably February.
Probably
would be my
February.
Guess. Yeah.
But it is a place to share and have accountability out of the prying eyes of random family and friends on Facebook. It's a place to be honest and real, and it's been a great space. So more to follow on that soon. But Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Let's make 2019 the best year ever.
Why not? What else do you have going on? What else you got going on? You just have your best life to live. That's all. Even your okayest life.
Yes, even your okayest life. And thank you so much for making We Only Look Thin a part of your 2018 and hopefully your 2019 and beyond.
Yeah, and thank you so much for everyone who has given us feedback on recent episodes about depression and other topics, Canary and Coal Mine.
It really means a lot to us. And if what else means a lot to us is if you could rate and write us a quick review or just rate us. 5 stars would be great on iTunes. It really helps.
Yeah, and if you have any interest, you can go to Instagram and follow us there at We Only Look Thin.
We're also on Twitter at We Only Look Thin.
We are also on Facebook at We Only Look Thin, or you can email us. Did I already say email?
You did not, but you can email us.
You can email us. We actually received a lovely email from someone in Munich, Germany the other day. It was very exciting.
Munich. We had a good time there.
We did. It was great.
The email address is weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yeah, so get in touch. Let us know what are your plans for 2019. Let's make them meh. We don't need you to come in hot. Because meh goals are totally fine. But let us know how you go on that. So thank you. And if you can't tell the difference between a Mrs. Dash and a tabla rasa, just remember that Donald and I are an inspiration.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.